You're right, exactly right. That now the next 30 seconds, the Cox's heart rate will be racing, and we just see they've started off now with a that's a very weird start from our top boat there with Regent's Park going off into the middle of the river, and the Cox having to adjust. They're steering quite strongly there, and remember, steering from the Cox is causing braking, so that will have slowed down that crew. But they seem to have gotten away anyway from the Magdalen M2 crew pushing behind them. Looking lower down the division, though, we see you were right. It's that Pembroke M3 boat which is chasing down Teddy Hall M3 and getting quite close. I would say they're within they're within a quarter of a boat length, if even at the moment. So this is very exciting. You can see the Teddy Hall Cox looking behind him over his shoulder, getting more. They've got overlap now. So will Teddy Hall be? No, Teddy Hall has conceded to Pembroke.
Brilliant start there from Pembroke College. That's exactly what we wanted and just what we thought was going to happen. We're now with camera 2 at the top of Donington Bridge. We see that Regent's Park continue to lead out over Magdalen, followed by Wilson College. But it is St Hugh's. They're making up ground. Remember, it was about a length and a half that separated the crews. So I think we're probably down to about a length or so between St Hugh's hunting down Wilson College. Going with them, though, Teddy Hall sitting just a little bit further back. So St Hugh's probably one of the quicker moving crews in that sort of that group just off the start. We've seen Magdalen, Regent's Park. They're probably out of it. If they're going to be in a tussle, they'll be in their own little tussle further down the course. We see there on screen, we've got Teddy Hall, we've got St Hugh's, and we've got Wilson College. And St Hugh's getting closer and closer, I reckon, to the likes of Wilson. And it looks as if that St Hugh's Cox, Adam, they're trying to get the inside line around that bend, trying to just get their bows closer into the bank than the likes of Wilson, just to give them that advantage around the bend. But on screen here, it's a great line taken by Hartford. They're closing in on the likes of Lincoln, being chased as well by Corpus Christi. We talked about this battle, Adam, at the start that we're going to see between these three crews, and we're seeing it right here. It's a great start by Hartford. They're getting closer and closer to Lincoln.
And yeah, you're exactly right. This is a really exciting sandwich situation with three boats really close to each other, and all three Coxes will be very aware that they just need to hold on a little bit longer so that the other two boats have the bumper and get in each other's way. However, yes, the Lincoln boat ahead just couldn't quite get far enough and now have conceded the bump to Hartford College.
So we're now back at our Longridge camera. We continue to see the likes of St Hugh's. They're closing in. We're down to about a quarter of a length or so separating St Hugh's from Wilson College with their mismatched blades. They've got some of their first 8 blades, but also some of their M2 blades on there as well. St Hugh's closing the gap. So if they can hang on in there, this bump is very much theirs for the taking. Wilson doing everything in their power to hold off St Catherine, send those dirty puddles back down to St Hall's, trying to throw them off as much as possible as they get closer and closer. We're now riding at the New College camera, about a couple of hundred metres from the finish line. Magdalen haven't backed off at all. They continue to race Regent's Park all the way to the line. I think Regent's Park are going to be one tired crew at the end of this. They've been hunted all the way down. And I think, if anything, perhaps Magdalen, they've closed the gap ever so slightly, closed the gap on Regent's Park, probably down to about a length or so, I reckon, separating these two crews. We'll get a better indication as the camera pans round. We saw just in the distance off behind that battle going on between St Hugh's and Wilson College. So there we see probably slightly more than a length, probably about a length and a half, 2 lengths or so between. So Regent's Park, Adam, I would say looks set to hold on to the top of this division and moving into the sandwich crew position for men's Division 5.
Yeah, yes, I would agree with you. It looks like Regent's Park were able to just put a little counter-attack on Magdalen College there, and seem to be pushing away a little bit slowly by little bit. And now they just have to keep that tempo, because I really don't think that Magdalen will be able to catch up with them. Although both crews look to be going at a really nice pace, really pushing and trying to desperately, Magdalen desperately trying to catch up with Regents there, but they are just, I think, a little bit too far up the course to be able to pull that one out of the bag, unfortunately. Although I can imagine that the Magdalen College Cox will be giving or telling, you can see she's steering out, in fact, to try and get a little bit closer to Regent's Park. So she must think that she's close to doing a swipe. I think that might have been a little bit early, though. and I don't think she will. In fact, she's doing quite a bit of steering there. I probably realized that she was in the dirty water. So, for people who aren't used to coxing or to the bumps format, when you're following a boat close by, you want your shell of your boat to be in between the shell and the blades of the boat in front of you. So that's just to avoid kind of the messiest water, the choppiest water. Because if you follow the shell exactly behind them, you will have all that kind of wash that then disturbs your own boat and gives you extra wobble, which you don't want for your rowers. And it looks like Regent's Park have made it across the line just safely. The clack is about to go down. Yeah, it's gone down.
We see there as well Wilson College coming into shot. No sign of St Hughes, so that would suggest a successful bump for St Hughes. They'll be trading places with Wolfson. St Hughes moving up to third in this division. And we see that makes sense. We've got the next crew coming into shot will be Teddy Hall. Obviously, earlier on, they were bumped by Pembroke 3. And the other bumps that we have had, we'll bring on full confirmation of this in a few minutes' time. But the other bump that we have had, that we know we've had, is at Hartford 2 on Lincoln 3 down at the bottom of this division. So a great result there from Hartford. So just waiting to see the rest of the crews coming through. Perhaps some poor steering from Corpus Christi at the start of this race potentially cost them a bump on Hartford themselves, actually, or even a bump onto the likes of Lincoln. But we see Teddy Hall there closing out this race, and then we'll be waiting to see which other crews are rowing out this course to give us a full understanding of who's been bumped, who's going up, who's going down, but also to see who's had a very successful day and who perhaps hasn't.
Yes, so I think there is one more boat coming up now, and that's Corpus Christi, which is the boat at the bottom of the division, but I think just they're clearly not going to catch up with. There's no one to catch up to now, and so we should see the launch come past or come on screen in a second. But so now the next division will have put their boats out on the water and will be pushing off immediately to try and get some warm up time on the river before their own start. So we'll probably catch that in a second with the next shot, either looking down at Unit Boathouse or another camera kind of looking at Boathouse Island, and we'll see the sudden rush of rowers running to their boat, jumping in, checking their gates, and pushing away from their rafts.
So your provisional results for men's division 6. St Hughes had the bump on Wilson 3, Pembroke 3 on Teddy Hall 3, Hartford 2 on Lincoln 3. Lincoln 3 went on to bump Teddy Hall 3, and the sandwich boat for men's division 5 will be Regent's Park, who Moorland were unable to catch for the duration of the course. Hartford 2, interestingly enough, they get the chain bump going up +2. So a great result for Hartford. And as Adam said, as the camera starts to pan back around, we see crews getting ready, getting lined up to boat for the next race, which will be the Women's Division 5, and that will be kicking off at 1:35.
Just to confirm, it's Women's Division 6. You're getting ahead of yourself now, Fergus.